Can you dream of a world immune to cancer? Hello everyone, my name is Nick and I'm the host of the annual live stream for The Cure, where content creators and podcasters from around the world join me to raise money for the Cancer Research Institute and immunotherapy research, which is training the body's immune system to fight against all forms of cancer. Over the past 7 years, thanks to the power of indie podcasters and the indie podcasting community and listeners just like you listening to this right now, we have raised over $90,000. And as I record this now, the 8th annual live stream for The Cure is barreling down upon us really quickly in just about 2 weeks. So join us please from May 29th through June 1st for 48 hours of amazing content from people all over the world and help us fight for a world immune to cancer. I'll now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Thank you so much. And together, we can make a difference.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Out of the Tubi, a show where we reach our hands into the tub that is the greatest streaming service in the world, Tubi, and we pull out something grimy. And today we are talking about 2004's Curse of the Komodo, or The Curse of the Komodo, or what the hell is this movie?
I feel like the curse of this movie should have been spelled with a K as well.
Yes,
missed opportunity.
Like
missed opportunity.
Korn started that, okay? Korn started that thing with like K for a C. That's us. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, my wonderful co-host Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Hello.
And back for more pain because he couldn't get enough Komodo the first time. We have Captain Steve Coates of the Bucket of Chum podcast. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, it is great to be back for this one.
We are so excited to talk about this movie and to have you back. This was like a last second thing. I think I reached out to you less than a week ago. It was like, do you want to come back for more? For something way worse than the other Komodo movie we watched? And he said yes, so he is here.
Well, it can't be worse than what he tackles on a day-to-day basis, though.
Absolutely
Right?
not.
That is true. That is very true.
I have a lot of nice things to say about this movie.
Oh, yeah, there are some good things about this movie. I will admit, but most of it hilariously bad.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the thing. I've been on this weird journey with another podcast called the Vintage Video Podcast, where they're going through all the movies of 1982, and I've been following along. And I have not watched so many just like bafflingly bad, like romantic, weird just movies where it's like when you watch a bad movie, it's bad. It's not like enjoyably bad. This is a movie you can go, yes, it is horrible, but I laughed so many times. I was just going, huh? What? Why did they do that? But laughing at the same time that I'm doing it. And
I was yelling questions at the screen while we were watching. So why the fuck what's going on here?
I yelled bullshit at all their science that they tried putting out there. I'm like, that's bullshit. Yeah. I'm like, that's not true.
That's going to be so good. So yeah, so this movie was directed by the legendary schlock master Jim Wynorski, or under his pseudonym J. Andrews. I literally had to check to make sure I was watching the right movie when I turned this on. I was like, who the hell is J. Andrews? I thought this was a Jim Wynorski movie, not knowing that Jim Wynorski has used 70,000 names during his career, one of them being
covers tracks.
Harold Blueberry, science name currently. Oh, it's so good. This movie was written by somebody, Steve Latshaw, who, let's look at his, he was the director of Jacko, which is a kind of like
God.
It's a weird, bad horror movie from the 80s. Movie Dumpsters covered it.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure that's one movie I actually turned off and didn't put back on yet. That's coming from me.
He wrote a lot of movies for Jim Wynorski and Fred Olen, who was another schlock director.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. He also wrote a movie called Return of the Killer Shrews, which
wow.
I need to see that.
Listen, we need to cover when it's on the wheel. Is the original one on the wheel? Attack of the Killer Shrews?
Oh, is this a remake?
Don't ever play that game as a drinking game because there's a dude in it like that drinks alcohol like every 5 seconds. You'll be dead by the time you get to the end of that movie. It's terrible, but we had a really good time watching it.
Oh Lord!
It's not add that to the wheel.
I will after.
So of course this movie did not go in theaters, so we don't have any financials.
You don't say.
This was by the looks of it. This movie was made for 25 cents and a bag of Frito-Lay, plain Frito-Lays. Okay, not even the flavored ones. Okay. It stars a bunch of people that, to be honest, not even worth talking about. They did a thing. Some of them did okay. Some of them were forgettable. Most of them are forgettable. Let's not lie. Okay. And we're here.
I feel like, do you ever just like look at actors and be like, they're either in soap operas, CW, or pornography?
Oh yeah,
probably. Yeah, and I'm mainly speaking about the guys. I mean, the ladies. No offense. There's one in particular. You know, it's the titty lady. You know what she's into. So.
I've actually seen the lead bad guy, Jake, I think was his name.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Mega Piranha, which I covered in December.
Is that the Jack dude that wears the gray tank top thing?
Yeah, the Walmart John Cena.
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
The one who's
Yes.
Yeah.
Mad
I don't even know how to
time.
make his face. Yeah.
And just fuck. He's
so,
like, God, gotta take a shit.
I'm just quickly looking through his Wikipedia page. And okay, so I recognize him from a Puppet Master movie, Puppet Master Axis Termination, which is like the 8th Puppet Master movie. Yes, I've been going through all his movies. That one's not good. It's not even remotely good. But he was in a movie the same year as that called Halloween Pussy Trap Kill.
Yes, I want to cover that one.
Oh wait, I may have actually seen that. I'm gonna look it up because I think I've seen it.
Oh, he was also in the Pacific Rim knockoff called Atlantic Rim Resurrection.
That's on our wheel.
Yeah,
that's on our wheel.
Atlantic Rim Resurrection. Yes. Oh no!
The original one is. We'll get to Resurrection.
And eventually. He was in the last Sharknado.
Oh wow!
Was it just called the last Sharknado?
Yeah, it's called the last Sharknado. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Sharknado 6, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ran at 92 minutes, which was longer than the other Komodo movie we covered by like
was it?
By like 5 or 6 minutes. Yeah, it was like because I think the other one was like an hour and 20 something minutes. Maybe wrong. Maybe that one was longer. This one felt long. But let's get into this plot, okay? Because like these movies, like there is not a lot behind the scenes for this. So we're just going to get right into it.
A lot of people fucking about it.
This is a different type of show than a normal show. It's still, we kind of go through the plot, but it's going to be a free for all. We're just going to kind of go. This is very much a Jurassic Park like spin-off. We took a lot of homage from Jurassic Park with some noises, with the opening shot of just helicopters going over it looks like some part of Hawaii. Hilarious. This movie also looks like it was made 10 to 15 years before Komodo from 1999.
I couldn't believe it was 2004 when I looked at the year. I'm like, wait, this doesn't look bad, but it just does not look like it was shot in 2004.
The wildest thing is that this movie looks so much older in the beginning, but as it progresses, it starts to look better. Like visually, It was like maybe the sun came out and just things started to see things. I was like, oh, okay, that's what that looks like.
My favorite shots were the reoccurring like aerial shots of like the naval yard.
The naval yard. There was also like a Vietnamese village, like that kept getting blown up multiple times. Like what? It was used like 4 or 5 times at the end.
It totally did.
So many fun decisions here. We meet these like soldiers going through this jungle, and they just pass by a jaguar like 5 feet away. This jaguar's like,
Oh,
hey, what's up?
the car?
No, yeah. Again, people are just driving. Just like, ah!
Car's just like, what's up, dude?
Guy passed him. What the hell is he doing? Oh, Lord. And then we see this really interesting house that has this really interesting fence around it that has that like whoa, whoa, whoa pulsating sound.
It's one of those
Do you know what that
invisible
house
to see
is?
Their dog in.
No.
It's the house they used for Fantasy Island.
Oh, okay. Didn't
Yeah.
watch that, so
I haven't either, but I read the trivia and I'm like, oh, yep, that's it.
Oh
Cool.
wow, you
Yeah.
read more trivia than I did. I didn't even bother looking.
I
at the
went
trivia for
down
this movie.
such a deep rabbit hole because there were just so many things about this movie, like with the actors and the director, and there's a couple of like extras in the movie. I'm like, holy shit, this person's in it. So I went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, the only one I really recognized was that Paul Logan, who we just mentioned. But I didn't recognize anyone else in this movie.
Oh, so the well, I'll mention it when we get there. It's coming up soon.
But yeah, it's like this high-tech electric fence around this house, and the people here shooting. And so they're like, let's go outside the protective fence to see what is happening. I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? You guys are supposed to be there for scientific reasons. What are we doing?
Allegedly.
Yeah. So they and then you got the one guy who's just like, I'm tough. He's dead. We got to just shoot him and just fucking blast this dude.
Yeah.
He's like, help
What
me!
about him?
Help me! Oh Lord! And so we then see the the Komodo for the first time, and listen, I am gonna try my best not to be a complete asshole when it comes to effects work, but this Komodo dragon looks like one of those like cheap rubber toys you would buy for the bathtub.
From
And
the
then
dollar
they-
store.
Yeah, and then they just kind of put it in and just started moving it around. That's what
No,
it looked.
listen.
There were some shots though where it actually did look pretty decent. Like when it's running, I was like, "Wow, how did they get it to run? How did they get it to look good running?" But when it's just kind of
Yeah.
standing around or doing other things, it's like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't look great." But
I am going to lay on the tracks for this Komodo dragon. I'm going to tell you why. First off, I have an issue with them, and then I'm going to explain why I defend it. I wanted this thing to run like basilisk lizards do, where like it's on its hind
like-
legs.
oh,
Like it's where I'm like, all right, dude, sweet. I can't wait for the audio listeners to hear that. Like, what's he doing? Like, just gotta watch the video. So
it's like a turtle.
the
having
second
sex.
is we made the mistake of looking up the follow-up to this movie,
Oh yes, also directed by Jim Wynorski.
Komodo versus Cobra.
We didn't
Or was that
look it up.
IMDb
It
just
came
forced it?
up.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
literally
not- it was not-
recommended right after this. Yeah.
It just rolled,
It
dude.
started playing. I was like,
holy
what the
shit.
hell is this?
Like, you think the Komodo looks bad this movie? Good God. It's like they CG'd a lizard on a stick and just like, and that's what it looks like
Wow.
moving. I kid you not. It looks worse than this movie.
See, it's funny because
But it looks bad.
I feel like Steve sees this type of effects work in pretty much all the movies he covers. So he's probably just like, are you just immune to the just seeing this type of CG work? You're just like, oh yeah, that's
Honestly,
fine.
Yeah, so the beginning shot, terrible. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh fuck me, what am I in for? But then later on, like it does actually look good. And like I watch a lot of like behind the scenes like VFX on YouTube and whatnot. Like there's this channel called Corridor Crew I always watch.
Yep, I watch him too.
And
Yep.
yeah, so I was watching like one of their videos, and then I watched like the effects for this, and I'm like, it looks bad, but it also looks good at the same time because like there's actually proper like shadow casting when it's running and standing, and it actually looks like it's making contact with the ground. But then there's other times it's like it looks terrible, and I'm like, what is happening? Like you guys almost had it, like you were this close.
Maybe it was the head. I think the body of
The head.
Fine.
The
The
head
head
shit.
really throws you off. It doesn't look good.
The
It's-
inside of the mouth too, it looks like shit.
The teeth and all
The
that.
tongue's
It's like,
flat, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a texture
But
inside
like,
the
but like
tongue.
I said, when it was running, it actually looked good because the body actually moves right and it's moving like a giant lizard. But yeah, the head. I think the head just throws you off. But and that's what you're looking at, primarily is the head. So you're kind of like, oh god, especially when you see it for the first time in the dark, which is weird because CG usually looks better in the dark. Like if it's not good, or if it's like,
and somehow they managed to fuck that up.
Yeah, where it looks better in the light, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, smear some Vaseline on the lens. Turn the light down. Put a bag over its head.
Yeah. Oh no, poor Komodo.
No, it's not that bad. It's. But I will say, there's one thing this Komodo dragon does really well, and it does a lot, and it really makes me think of when we covered the beast from Hollow Mountain. It's this lizard is really good at standing fucking still and doing nothing. Because that's what it does in this movie. And I'm not trying to shame you, because there's a lot of shots of it just standing there.
Yeah.
Menacingly. I'm like, okay, dude. What are you looking at? Just do your thing. You should have 8 or 20 minutes ago. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the hilarious thing about this scene in the jungle is that it grabs a guy with its tongue. I was like, that's not how Komodos work. They don't have, like, it's not, like,
and it doesn't do it the rest of the movie. This is the only time you see it do that.
Yeah. Because literally it just like, and the guy's like, wow! Just like disappears off screen. Oh.
Was that when they were in the mist?
Yeah.
Why are the jungles always like foggy? It's always foggy in the jungle. There's literally a scene during the day where they're like walking through the jungle and there's just this random fog that just goes through the middle of the shot, and you're like, it's nowhere other than this one spot, and it's not just like stagnant. It's moving. Like what? Okay. I want to make it
probably from It's probably one of Wynorski's other like softcore films, like Vietnamese Pussy Hunter or something. But it's all white girls. Like,
listen, he has a movie called The Devil Wears Nada.
Yeah, dude. Isn't he the guy that did The Hills Have Thighs?
Yes.
Oh,
yes!
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. So yeah, we talk about the guy who got shot. We find, we see like these two scientists meeting up with this colonel or whatever position he is, and talking about like, oh, you got to go to this island and study this thing or or try to eliminate it, and and literally not really giving him any help. It's like, yeah, we're gonna send you to this island with a massive Komodo. Like they know about this giant Komodo dragon, and the military is like, yeah, we're just gonna send you there. You're like these are scientists. I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that unless you bring me like 4 or 5 guys with big guns.
They did send no soldiers, no extra help whatsoever. It's like, oh, you're a scientist, so go and clean this up. What? That makes zero. That's one of the things where I'm like, hey, bullshit. Like that makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Oh man.
Well, no, they explain what it is. It was some project to like make big food.
Yeah,
like, that was the
Catalyst.
idea. Yeah. And they're like, it was to make food. He's like, bullshit. It was always
like the military doesn't give a fuck about making food for people. Like the military sucks. And you're like, oh boy, this is.
This just makes me think of Food of the Gods, but like with no gravy.
But it's not the
nature's gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we then go to a casino in where I have no idea, and it gets robbed. And I love the old man security guard who's kind of just there, and then he just gets shot because like he saw your face, or you said my name in front of him. And I was like,
okay.
And he just smokes them, right? He's in the chair.
Yeah, just shoots
I was like,
them.
how about this? How about wear a mask? How about just don't talk? There's a lot of other options, and it's like he saw your face. I don't think the name matters.
This is the actor I recognized. So the security guard or cashier, as he's credited, his name is George Buck Flower, and I'm assuming you've all seen Back to the Future.
Yes.
So the homeless drunk guy, like crazy drunk drivers, the one who says that line,
who sleeps on the park bench.
Yeah, who sleeps on the bench. That's him.
Oh, okay.
He is in a shit ton of movies. Like you've probably seen him in a bunch of stuff. A buddy of mine, Ben, like we watch movies like every Thursday online and whatnot, and we're making our way kind of through some of his filmography. And so when I was going down my rabbit hole, I came across a movie that he actually co-wrote, and I'm assuming it looked kind of like a softcore porn or something, but it was something about like a stripper school, a school for strippers going under, and they need to save it or some shit like that. And then that's how I ended up down that fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah, he was in Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama.
Yep.
He was in Maniac Cop. He was in Pumpkinhead.
Hey!
Okay. Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
Mac and Me. He was in They Live. What?
Wow.
He usually plays a homeless guy.
Yeah.
9 times
Yeah,
out
it's
of 10, he's
literally-
like a homeless guy.
Let's see here. We have Drifter, Security Guard, Old Man, Janitor, Red the Bum. That's who he was in Back to the Future Part 2. Redneck, Preacher on the Radio. Vern. Oh, he's in Puppet Master too. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, he was in another Jim Wynorski movie, 976 Evil 2.
Oh.
Because that
okay.
movie needed a sequel. Tammy and the T-Rex. Oh my god.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I can go down that rabbit hole too.
Yes.
Oh god. So, yeah, they robbed this casino. The guy gets shot because the guy said his name. I do like the whole thing with the you got the woman upstairs. She's like at the hostess table there, and you got this couple coming up asking for a room. She's like, they're all booked, and they're like, well, you better find something. It's like, again, we're booked. Here's $500. Go have fun. And I love how he's just like, oh, cool. Okay. She's like, I want to see. She's like, shh. Like, get her
I'll
away.
buy you something to eat. And like
Yeah.
pushes her away.
So they go out. They escape. Possibly the easiest job they've ever had, because they literally go from the room that all the money's in to the parking garage within 10 feet. Like, okay.
Teleportation.
They then meet they go to a helicopter that's kind of their way out, and I'm like, where is this casino? Is this casino in Hawaii? Because they say they're like 300 and something miles from Hawaii, the island with the Komodo dragon. That's how far it is. And it's like, is that where they were at the time? Where the hell is this that they would eventually hit this island and have to land here? I'm so confused at the geological location of this movie.
No idea.
Oh, we then
The pilot doesn't know either because he's like, where do we go? Just fly. Like,
Oh,
where
yeah,
the
he's like,
fuck are we go?
he says, go up.
go.
Yeah. Okay, so we're in space now. What's your fucking plan?
Yeah. I said there's only so far you can go up.
I'm so
I'm like, there's
confused.
360 degrees that you could fucking turn. Like, we need to pick one.
What's going on here? Oh god. So we then are back with the scientists at the house. A bunch of them left. The older guy there, he's like, his daughter is on the island. She's off with like his girlfriend or fiance or whatever she is. You find all this later with their like relationships and all that stuff. And they're going to kind of do some reconnaissance and see if they can figure out where everybody is or where the dragon might be. And this is where we get the most, I'm not going to say the most egregious nudity, but it is like just like, you want to see some big old boobies? Here you go. Like, and she is just on display, just like she is. It's like, what kind of movie are we watching now? Like, this isn't just some regular skinny
I
dipping
wasn't
scene.
I wasn't expecting that. I was just like, okay, this movie has not felt that it was leading up to like this kind of movie, and like it's just in there now all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, okay, this is where we're at.
This is what I think, and I mean, clearly I don't know the actual behind the scenes of the shooting of this scene, but she goes, I'm gonna go for a swim, and you're like, okay. Most likely there's gonna be some nudity, but she goes in there and like she's got like some crazy tan lines too. Like clearly this is not her normal attire. But she goes in and you just think, oh, it's just positive, you know, she's gonna wear her bra and her underwear and whatever. But then she is like, it's not just like the fact that she just whips it off. She's like, I swear she looks at the camera and she's like, yes. And I was like, okay. And then it goes on for a long time.
And the other girl is just sitting there watching her too.
Every once in a while, she's just like
pretending to do her science stuff. Like,
okay,
Yep.
oh,
okay,
oh, science, yeah. Oh,
I wish I had boobs like that.
This was plan B for this scene to escalate. It just never panned out in the script. They're like, we'll just keep that as a backup just in case.
yeah.
We could use this footage in another movie.
Yeah. So we then I don't know how to move on from this.
I wasn't surprised it happened. I was waiting for it. I was like, "Yep, there's gonna be titties. It's already." I guarantee it with this guy.
We called it when she said she was going to go swimming because we've
yeah.
seen this in another movie that we have watched before.
Makes me think of Friday the 13th Part 2, dude. That lady's just walking on the beach by herself. We were watching it. I was like, $10 as she gets naked. Sure as shit, middle of the night. Like, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna get naked and go to the water. Like, what provoked you to do this?
I called it from Cocaine Bear, where the girl gets naked at the waterfall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's what's going on.
Just at some point, some lady's gonna be like, I've got to get naked. Absolutely. That sounds like a wonderful idea.
She didn't lose her clothes though.
But the funniest thing is just how long it goes on, where it goes from between her being in the water and then the other one on the shore collecting samples, just kind of just looking at her once in a while, like,
Fuck you and your boobies.
Drake, he doesn't kind of suck. This guy sucks. Like this, he's just the worst. And he's just an absolute meathead. He's a dumb person. And so they land on the island, and the pilot is like, hey, there's something wrong with the rotor. It's going to be a while. I got to fix it. And he's like, no, I don't trust you. You're going to fix it, and you're going to fly away and leave us here. You're coming with us. Which then, continuity, out the fucking window. So this helicopter, when they leave, there's something wrong with it that's going to take some time. But by the time we get to the end and everybody needs to leave, that helicopter has been fixed with magic.
Well, no. Actually,
I thought he lied about it.
He did. The guy
Yeah.
there was nothing wrong with it.
Okay,
He
well, I
says-
missed that line.
Yeah, it's literally like a throwaway line just to justify it. They probably did it in ADR.
Because I'm
Yeah.
literally sitting there at the end of the movie going, but that what? Huh? He
Well,
said it
if
was
you-
broken.
But actually, if you listen to the pilot, he gives two separate reasons as to why it doesn't work. First, he says it's a transmission mount,
Oh yeah.
and then he says there's something wrong with the rotor. I was like, that's either bad writing or something's going on. And I think he was just feeding him bullshit.
To be honest, he was my favorite character, the pilot. I liked him
I
a
don't
lot.
understand why he wasn't the focus. Like, why did we focus so much on this douchey, like I said, Walmart John Cena dude? Like, we should have been focusing with the pilot. I want his story more than I want these assholes, because I don't care about him and fucking Blondie.
Yeah, they're really useless.
Oh, and her character is by far one of the most annoying people I've ever fucking seen on screen. My God.
Wait,
every time she
what's
talked,
Blondie, because there's like 3 of them.
Drake or
Drake's
Jake's
girlfriend?
blonde. Yeah,
Oh, okay. His name is Drake. I thought
Oh,
it was
it's Drake?
Jake.
I thought it was Jake too.
IMDb or Wikipedia has it as Drake. So who?
I mean,
knows?
yeah, both are.
What
fine.
did the subtitles say? I think they said Jake. So I think Wikipedia, you're wrong. Somebody needs to fix that immediately. So
Yeah,
I
they'll
love.
get right on for this
I love.
blockbuster.
I'm sorry. I love when the older guy is like going out to find his daughter and his fiance or girlfriend or whatever, and he's driving with one of the other dudes. I can't remember all these people's names. They're just literally throwaway, and I just don't care. But they're driving, and he just hops out. He's like, "I'm just gonna run through the jungle. I'll find him." I was like, "What? Why?
How is that a better?
Why would you do that?" They're like, he literally is just like, you just see him just wander into the jungle. You're like, okay, bye. You just expect him to die. Like, I didn't expect him to make it all the way through the movie. Oh, so then this movie starts getting weird. I mean, this movie was weird to begin with, but it starts getting really like scratch your head weird, where you're like, is this now turning into a zombie movie? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell is this? So this guy, one of the other guys got bit earlier in the movie, and so he starts like, you could see it on his arm, and then when the girls leave, because he goes with the girls and they kind of do their thing, and that's and then he kind of just collapses while he's trying to fix the Jeep, because the Jeep like stalls out, and they get back and they find him dead. They find he's got like stuff all, he's all infected and all that. And that's when the Komodo comes out for the first time, like during the day, and you get the showdown. And one of my favorite things about this movie is the fact that there is so much ammo used. And I don't think a single bullet hits that Komodo dragon, or they just did not want to render impact points into that Komodo because it doesn't look like they are hitting it at all.
But it somehow keeps it at
might.
bay because of that scene later on where it like comes into the compound. They're just sitting there shooting at it, looking at the Komodo, shooting at it, looking at the Komodo, and that's all that's going on, and nobody's doing anything. I'm like, okay, so this is either working or it's not. Like, let's go.
Yeah, and the Komodo eventually just leaves. He's like,
Yeah, he's like, okay,
I'm
fuck this
tired.
noise.
I can't deal with this right
He's
now.
like, thanks for all the lead. I gotta go.
Yeah.
My favorite part is the gunplay is atrocious in this fucking movie.
Oh, it's
And,
horrible.
like,
I was
I've
thinking of
seen
you
some-
the entire time I saw somebody carrying a
There's-
gun like at their hip, and I'm like, that's not how you hold that.
No. And my favorite part was like what it was with the scientist. They had like a bolt action rifle. And there's one shot. There's actually there's multiple shots. And I was like, oh, you're fucking serious. Anyway, so like there's a shot where it's like at the people. They're like one of the ladies with the pistols like shooting. And he's got like the rifle. And he's like, you could see him like mock shooting, but there's no flashes or sounds for his shots.
For about
Good
the first
God.
15 minutes of this movie, anytime there was a shot fired, there's no muzzle flash. But then later on in the movie, they actually added in muzzle flashes to other guns. And I was like, did they get the budget? Or did they just completely miss those opening spots with the muzzle flash? Like, what?
And then there's another shot where he's in the vehicle, like shooting, and he's got a bolt action rifle, and he's like just full autoing it. And then he'll eventually put his hand up like he's going to do the bolt and just moves it right back down to the trigger. And I'm like, excuse me? Do you not know how to actuate anything? Did anybody just hand this to him? Like, here you go. You'll figure it out.
The craziest
Pretty much.
thing is that anytime there was a shootout with the Komodo, you might as well have just had every character just stand still, not move, not shoot anything, just stand there for 5 minutes, and it would have been just as exciting as watching them just stand there going, and nothing is happening to this Komodo. It's just standing there going, just fucking forking
Yeah.
its tongue out, like, what the?
Yeah, that's what it does. Most of this movie just fucking stands there. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, come on.
I mean, the next scene is fun when the Komodo's chasing them. I do like I talked about it earlier. The animation and the workings of it running actually looked good, but again, we're then going back and forth between the Komodo and them shooting out the back of this car, and it looks horrible because no one knows how to hold a gun, and nothing is hitting the Komodo. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like at
They're
least
fucking
give us some.
stormtroopers.
At least give us some impact. Like at least like show maybe maybe the Komodo has like some type of bulletproof skin, or it is taking some shots, but it's like Godzilla. Like what are we doing here? Like give us something.
Yeah.
Put a life bar above it so you can see it tick a little bit.
That would have been great. That would've
Display
been
the
so much
damage.
better. Oh man. So we then have this whole situation where they're back at the compound and they're running low on fuel for their generator because I guess the fence just runs on a generator. I'm like, this is a poor design, and why don't we have enough fuel? Like, weren't you guys going to be here a while? Like, was this your last day before all this shit went down? Where now you have like barely any fuel to keep this generator going and this fence going? I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, like when they came to the island, why did they not bring more shit with them?
Or why did they install this massive fucking tank or something that holds
Yeah.
a stupid amount of gas so that this... No, we need this. This is a crucial part of the plot.
Why
Yeah.
did they just make the whole thing geothermal?
It-
Wait, oh, never mind. Sorry.
I mean, you're on a tropical island where there clearly is a lot of sunlight. Maybe some solar panels.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you could power it by coconuts. Fuck, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
better than what they got now.
Yeah.
What was the pilot's name? Was his name
Pilot.
Was it Foster?
Pilot.
Jack? I'm just naming
There
names.
is
I'm
a
seeing.
Foster.
There is a
There is a
Foster.
Foster.
I don't know what his name was, but
Let's see.
his flask has like an unlimited supply of alcohol.
Oh my god, dude. It's
It's dead
never
as
empty.
fuck.
It's always empty and not empty at the same time. It's like, oh, you finished it off. Hey, you guys want some? No, you just said it's empty.
The funniest thing is I'm like questioning. I'm like, he took another like huge swig of that thing, like 4 or 5 times, and then at the moment I went, is this man's flask unlimited? He goes, up, it's out. Oh, I want to fill her up with some of that liquor before you pour it into the generator.
It's like I feel like a video game. It's like the flask just fills up after time. It's just like
To be
You just
honest-
pay to fill it up.
Yeah.
You just-
Oh
Push A.
yeah, push A to fill. The funniest thing is, I feel it's not even just this movie. I swear, most movies you watch where somebody has a flask, they have so much alcohol in it. It's like a gallon's worth of liquor in this this little flask. Oh my god! So we're then back with what the hell position is this dude? He's the guy. He's the military dude. I don't even know if he has a name. But
just here to fuck
he's
him
another
over.
shitty character,
Oh,
and
God.
he kind of goes into the backstory of kind of the whole Operation Catalyst and what his kind of whole thing was, and that pretty much his plan is to kind of just let them all die on the island. Like he's not even going to send any help. To kind of cover everything up.
Yeah, because there's like civilians, and so he's like, "There's civilians now." Like, "Oh, fuck them, just let them
Yeah.
die. It'll be fine."
And he talked about
Yeah, he wants it as a military weapon because he's a piece of shit. And then he gives way too much backstory on. He's like, "Oh well, back then I tried to come up with this plan, but they all turned it down, and then I brought it back with blah blah." And I'm like, I don't fucking care. Let's eat somebody.
Yep. Skip.
He also
Hard
mentions
skip.
he also mentions a monster movie. Which, Dan, would you know if this exists? Dinosaur Island.
Not
movie
I
that
can
he
find. I
mentions
looked
in
it
the-
Yeah,
up.
Actually,
we looked it
yeah.
up.
I was looking. I couldn't
Okay.
find one for an old monster movie that was what he was recalling.
Oh man.
I think he was just pulling things out of his ass, like keep it copyright free. But that could.
So earlier in the movie, during the first shootout with the Komodo, Reese, who is one of the casino robbers, he has some of the saliva kind of get on his arm, and then it turns him infected. And then this is when you find out that this is when the full zombie effect of this movie comes into play, because big tit tank top girl walks in, and listen, she might as well just not be wearing a shirt, because you could see everything on
Yeah.
that thing. So
Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
yeah.
I was waiting. All right, there was a bath scene before. I was like, are we getting another one? No. Okay.
The lady comes in to like help her. I'm like, where's
Yeah,
this
I was
going to escalate to? Like, I know how these movies play.
I'm like looking around the room, like no one's here. Right? Like, but this is when
your
he,
wife walks in. Fuck. Damn, stop.
I swear,
just
this
skipping
is
this
the
part.
Komodo movie. Okay.
Scene skip.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, he gets up and he's a zombie, and I'm like, well, I guess the Komodo turns people into zombies. Like what? No,
So
this
random.
goes back. This goes back to the other Komodo, to Komodo. Remember when we talked about at the end of the movie when Billy Burke's character Oates gets bit by the Komodo, and we did there was a whole part of our episode where we talked. I said, well, maybe he's afraid he's going to turn into a Komodo. Here it
There's
is.
the connection.
Here
There's
it
the
is.
connection.
Yeah.
They don't turn into Komodos, but they turn into fucking zombies. You're like, okay. I guess this is
Maybe
a
they're
little
the
weird.
best they could do.
zombies.
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? And even we get him biting someone, and I was like, what the frick is
That's
happening?
later. That's the rando fuck.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
there.
the other
That
guy
was
who gets
Hanson.
close to the pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, Hanson.
Yeah.
He gets bit. Like, God, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, and the part before this, I think, like some of the bullshit science that they talk about, they're like, oh yeah, the Komodos don't like coming out in the sun. And I'm like, hold on a second. I'm like,
No.
I'm going to double check this because I'm 98% sure, but just to, that 2%, I'm like, oh no, they do like the sun. Of course they fucking do. I'm like, what is that?
When I watch
Like, that
Komodo
makes
Dragon
no sense.
When I watch Komodo Dragon shows, it's usually sunny out, and they're like fucking up a wildebeest or some shit. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yep.
A water buffalo getting stuck in the mud. Yeah, that was part of that
Yeah,
Crocodile Hunter
they got that
episode.
bitch.
Yeah.
No, but speaking of all that bullshit science, that's literally what happens after, because after Reese gets eaten by the Komodo and gets shot 75,000 more times, it just was like, all right, I'm done, and just wobbles back into the woods. And so they're like, all right, well, the fence is out because we're out of gas. We got to venture across the island. To where? I don't remember
The
if they said
helicopter.
it. Oh, that's right. They're making their way. Yeah, because they're like, you got a helicopter? And I would have been like, where the fuck did you think we came from?
We just
Yeah.
appeared on the island.
They
Isn't
Oh no,
this
we lived in that
lost?
village that'll get bombed 4 fucking times at the end.
Yeah. It's leftover Apocalypse Now footage.
Yes.
Snuck into Francis Ford Coppola's office. Like,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
He don't need it.
But this is when they run, or they're like walking through the jungle. And they talk about it's like, yeah, the Komodo can't see during the day. It's vision. It's pretty much them saying this vision is based on movement.
Based on movement.
Because they literally run into it and they're like, stand still. It can't see us right now, but it can smell us. And I was like, what? Okay.
And then that dumb bitch runs.
Yeah. And then holds her gun.
Deal with it.
And then she like pins herself up against a tree. She could have easily just ran through. Like there was a lot of trees that are like really
So
close
much-
together.
Yeah, so much bush behind her. She
Yeah.
could've
Like
gone
where that
into.
dragon's
She's
probably
like,
just gonna be like,
nope.
yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm gonna go get these easy targets. But yeah, she like leans up
be
against
careful,
the
Steve, with your context and the kind of movie we're watching. You're like, there was so much bush behind her. I was like, you
Not
gotta
her
be
bush.
careful.
Oh god. That was the other movie they were filming the next week, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They just did like 2 or 3 back to back for this 1 week.
Oh, there was a lot of back to back.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Yeah, there is. I've seen Requiem for a Dream.
Whoa.
Oh my
Why
god.
did you have to say that? Damn it.
God.
Visuals.
But she literally pins herself up against the tree. I swear she's holding that gun down by her knees, like shooting at this thing. She's like, ah!
This scene takes way too long. Like a
Way
lot
too
of,
long,
oh
and they're
my
all
God.
just. I love how Drake or Jake or fucking whoever, whatever his name is, literally is like, no, and then she
Oh,
just
God.
vanishes. Like she got eaten, but like they don't show her getting eaten. She's just not there anymore. And I
Yeah.
love the other part of the group's like, that's not our problem. We're just gonna stand
Yeah.
right here.
Deuces. The pilot's like, fuck him. And then the one dude, Hanson, just gets tail swiped.
Oh
And
yeah,
smoked, like,
yeah, yeah.
instantly.
Oh, yeah.
And then he turned. Yeah, this is what causes him to die, and then turn into a zombie later.
Well,
Okay.
Angela was talking about this with this stuff all over the tree, you said.
The saliva.
The saliva or whatever was all over the tree. It was like it exudes it from its body because he got like hit by the tail.
Yeah.
And it's just blood
he
on
was-
his neck and just his whole body's like
he's
douche.
slimy.
The whole body.
Weird.
That's how the Komodo gets off.
Hits him with his tail. Oh.
Gets really excited after it eats
That's
people.
not his tail.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's his third leg.
Hung like a horse.
So
That's why he gallops.
Komodo. So they find this shack in the woods, and I love the one guy's like, "What are we doing? Why are we hiding here? This is stupid. We should keep going." He's like, "It's a building. Like, it's not gonna know we're here, and it's, we're just spending the night. Like, you literally stated the fact that this thing hunts the most at night. So why the fuck would we be going out there in the middle of the night?"
Idiots. All of
Seems
them.
like a wise decision there, Sherlock. So they find some C4 and some other things, and I love how we get this like really close, like heart to heart moment. Oh, earlier you find out that the guy who died, the first guy who died, was like really close with the daughter, and you had that whole little thing. But then
And nobody cares.
yeah, no one gives a shit. But it was really funny how they had to try to like give you
Oh, yeah.
like, oh, poor this girl. Poor booby
Yeah.
girl.
Poor
Like,
Insert name here.
Yes.
yeah. But we're in the shed and everybody's talking, they're just like, oh, who gives a shit what the fuck they're talking about? But you find like, everybody's getting close and they're doing their planning and they're just kind of enjoying the night. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna, who's gonna be first watch? And it like goes through like 3 people until the one lady scientist is like, no, I'll do it. And then she walks out the door and turns around, and then the guy, it's a zombie. The guy just pops up as a zombie and attacks her, but doesn't get anything, doesn't bite her. But old man Jack comes in and just like jumps, and he gets bit in the arm, and then it turns into a whole thing. He gets blasted a few times, and then now we're off. Now we're off in the jungle. We're walking. He's like, I'm fine, and then like 3 seconds later, he's like, oh, jeez. Just like, that's like against the tree.
His legs just
Oh, no.
falls off and just drags behind him. Like, what the fuck's happening here?
His legs just like leave him. Just bye. Just the torso. Ah! Some evil.
I'll be fine. I just need some more penicillin. That'll do the trick.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing we have. Penicillin. Like,
Oh, speaking of all the walking, I could easily tell, but it was actually done pretty well. Is like you could tell they used exterior shots of like Hawaii or whatever, but they're not walking in there, like they're walking on some other plated background. And I'm like, this could look much worse. Like I've seen worse in modern movies, and this I'm like, you had the ability to do some things good. Why didn't you do more? Like,
right. Yeah.
Like there's a good movie in here, so like a good bad movie in here somewhere, and they like just missed it by like this much.
That's because there wasn't a second scene of somebody getting naked. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, you need two, right?
Nothing
It's
else.
got to
Yeah.
be even numbers.
You gotta weigh everything out here. Come
One
on,
lady,
come on
Just
there,
a-
Jay Andrews or whatever the hell your name was for this movie,
Mr. Blueberry.
Mr. Blueberry.
H.R. Blueberry.
That's HR to you. But do you like the one shot where they're walking and it shows a volcano in the background with like the worst rendered like lava just pooled in there? It's like, that's not even, they didn't even try. It looks like someone just colored that in orange with an orange marker.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that one was unnecessary. Like, the other ones they had were fine, and then they had to do some shit like that. I'm like, why?
Like, why did you have to make the volcano look like it's about to erupt? Like, it's fine. It just can be there.
If you take, like, the nudity out of this movie and
No.
turn it to black and white, like, this is, like, a great 1950s, like, B movie.
Monster movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we
I
just
just
watched so many, and they're so much more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot wait till we get to one when it's literally just lizards with fins glued on them and they're passed off as dinosaurs. Like, that's what this movie feels like. It does. You're 100% right, Steve. Like, it really feels like that mid to late 50s, like, black and white, schlocky monster movie.
I think.
Yeah, it feels like he took a
but with
lot of
titties.
inspiration from that, but then he's like, but titties.
Yeah, gotta have
I think that's what they. Yeah, I think that's where they kind of
all else
like.
fails.
So like back in the 50s, nudity wasn't like. That was like, ooh, you can't have titties on the screen in the 50s.
No,
I think the
ladies couldn't even show their legs,
They show
or
an
was
ankle or
supposed
two,
to.
like, whoa,
show
really?
Yeah,
legs.
jeez, but yeah, they were hopping every fucking. They were getting sexually, not really. No, they were just getting overly flirted with, like aggressively, to the
Yeah.
point where it's like that's not okay.
Are we talking
Yeah.
about this movie?
No, we're talking about all the 50 monsters movies where like every
Oh.
lead man is just like, "You woman, I'm gonna have you." You're like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Well, we do have some interesting exceptions. What was the one where he always wanted to take her out to dinner? Black Scorpion.
That, oh my gosh, I was literally just about
Yeah.
to say that. Like,
we
they
get
have
to
to
be
take
married
them to
forever.
dinner while the
But she is-
grasshoppers are climbing the.
What was that? I
I'm
thought
pretty
it was
sure-
Black Scorpion. Because
Or was it
the
the-
beginning of the end was the.
I'm
the
getting
giant
my movies.
grasshopper. The Black Scorpion was the very strong. ladies.
Anyways,
Maybe it was
the men had to take the ladies to dinner while giant monsters were out there somewhere. No, we need to go to dinner right now.
And radiation was the
Like, there's
cause
just
of
a
and
giant
solution
monster
to all
out
life's
there. It's
problems.
fine. Let's go to dinner.
No, it's fine. We've got to go eat.
What was the octopus movie we did? Not Tentacles, the other one.
It
It came from beneath the sea.
sea.
Yeah, there's like a giant killer octopus. There's a giant
yeah.
killer octopus, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go out with me sometime? Let's go out to dinner." He's like, "There are more important matters right now. Like, what are we doing?"
Pins are against the wall. Like, we're worried about people. A lot of
It's
people.
like,
dying.
hey,
It's like,
we don't know each other very well, but I'm gonna be 3 inches from you, and my fucking crotch is gonna be touching you. Like, bro, back up.
They go, I just met you and this is crazy, but let's go to dinner.
Oh,
maybe."
god
Yeah.
damn it.
And not get
Fucking
killed by an
song.
octopus. That's fine.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
I worked outside.
They don't have cell phones, so
I worked outside an award show one year in the receiving area while they were setting it up. And so their sound check was to just play that fucking song on repeat because she was performing there that year. So I heard that song every day at least 8 times a day for 2 weeks fucking straight. And I'm just like,
He hates it.
I'm done. I think I'm just done with this now.
I bring it up. I haven't brought it up in a while because he hates it, but I bring it up every so often. And the girl that sings Friday.
Oh, Rebecca
Gotta get
Black.
down on Friday.
Friday. I'm 12 years old. But somehow I'm driving.
Yeah.
Carly Rae Jepsen, to me, it's that song, and then my daughter is obsessed with Fuller House, which is the sequel series to Full House, and she does the Full House theme song for Fuller House. And so how many fucking times I've heard her version of that song? Way too many goddamn times.
So sorry.
God damn you, Carly Rae Jepsen. Oh God. So yeah, the Daddy Doc, I love this. That's what his name is to me. Daddy Doc, he's not feeling so hot. And we then go back to the Colonel, Captain, fucking who gives a shit military guy who's like, all right, time to bomb the place. And the guy's like, but there's people. And he's like, is there a problem? Just do what I say. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And this is... We get a Men in Black moment in this movie where the Komodo comes out and Daddy Doc, he's like, I'm going to die anyway, so give me that C4.
Yes.
And he goes up and he's like, and all I can think of is Tommy Lee Jones going, eat me! Eat me!
Dude, holy shit. I got to bring this up. Okay. I play a lot of Helldivers 2. And you die a lot in that game. But your gear is always left out and you're fighting giant bugs. And I'll play with my cousin. I'm like, I'll be right back. I was like, give me just a minute. I'm going to get my gun back. And I'm like, yes. And like, just like that all the time.
But that's literally all I could think of when he's literally like,
Yep.
He's got the C4 in his hand. I like Tommy Lee Jones just pops in and just does that. Cause that's like,
Yeah.
that scene is like Tommy Lee Jones at like the most like energy that I've ever seen him in a movie where he's just, and it ends the same way because the dragon eats Doc and then it blows up. And it's kind of the same thing that happens to Edgar Bug. He just, he eats K and then he blows up.
So got me your sugar water right here, motherfucker.
Oh, was
But
that your auntie? Sorry.
Yeah. Dude, but that scene was actually I love that scene, but I always loved I think the better version from Kong Skull Island with the
Yes.
Oh, with John
Skullcrawler
Goodman,
with
and he's in the camera.
No, not that part.
Oh.
No, the part with where he's got the belts with the grenades and he tries to get the one.
Oh
dude's
yeah,
got
and he's
AK.
just like it's like supposed to be epic, and then he just fucking gets tailed right in the side of the mountain. You're like,
and then it explodes.
oh
and
my
you're like,
God,
yes!
that guy did nothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is where I was questioning the helo being fixed, like magically,
Yeah.
but then you guys mentioned the fact that he mentions that it wasn't actually broken. So, well, I'm an idiot. Also, this is the
It
dumbest
wasn't
thing.
super obvious though. Like I feel like I had to like rewind it a couple times because I couldn't fucking hear some things that they were saying, and I'm like, what is happening? So I think that was one of the parts. It's like when him and one of the other, I guess, scientist dudes from whoever they are from the house,
People.
like they're
It's just
just
people.
they're talking about the generator, and he's like, so how are these people? Like, oh yeah, they're the worst, blah blah blah. And I think it's in that conversation he sort of mentions it.
It's with Hanson. It's the cool helicopter dude talking. It's the last guy that turns into a zombie and bites
Yes.
the Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're talking about like he's like you're smarter than you let on. You know a lot of shit. Like he's like, yeah, I used to be military or something like that.
Yeah.
This is when possibly the dumbest fucking scene happens. So they run to the helicopter, right? And Jake, fucking who cares, drops his duffel bag full of money. He's like, you go. I'm going to go grab this. Why does it take 4 hours for him to grab this goddamn duffel bag?
20 feet away. He's not even 20 feet fucking away. They can see each other through the helicopter window. That's how close they are. Like, they look each other in the eyes and see their eye color if they wanted to.
He picks up the duffel bag, and then, of course, all the fighter jets are going across, and he just stands there and looks at them fly by, And then, of course, like one hits, like a missile hits the ground, it like blows him off, and he just keeps falling over himself. And I'm just like, if I was literally like, fly away, leave this idiot, he's stupid.
Yeah,
and they
he
do.
sucks.
And I was like,
Yep.
yeah, smart decision.
Yeah.
Fucking leave this moron. What the hell is he doing? Holy crap! And then we get the darkest fucking scene in this entire movie. People have been eaten by a giant Komodo dragon. One dude gets off when like a suffering guy gets just like shot to kind of end his suffering. But the captain, sergeant, colonel guy finds out that there were survivors, and his little minion guy's like, "Do you want me to, write up a brief?" And he's like, "Oh, that sounds like a good idea." And he leaves the room. The dude takes a gun out of his desk and offs himself off screen. And I went, what?
That's what I told Angel. I was like, he's going to shoot himself. Because I seen him reach for the gun. I was like, he's going to end himself right here.
What? This movie wasn't that movie, okay? This movie did not need to have that, okay? He just needed to be a generic bad guy. It didn't need to get that dark.
Let's get arrested.
Yeah. Well, a movie I just did, I think it was Mega Shark versus Colossus, maybe. I can't fucking remember. They're all blending into one now. One of the ones I just recorded, literally the same thing happens. The colonel and a scientist and a guard go into a computer room, and then the colonel's standing there, and the guy's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Turns around, shoots the guard. Why did you bring him, number one? And then he tells the scientist to stand guard, does some shit, and then shoots himself. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you went from 0 to 150 really fucking fast.
It was so baffling. I was in shock. Like, did this movie, am I watching something else? Like, what?
Yeah.
It was weird, man. It was just really weird.
Like, he would have been fired. Come on.
But it
was military. Like, it would have been a slap on the wrist, and, like, he would have been retired.
Yeah. Also, we get a freeze frame after he does it with the other guy's face. Like, what?
Feels like it should be like a sitcom, like ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba, like next
you just hear the Seinfeld boop doop doop doop. Kramer comes in. Whoa!
Whoa, there's brains on the wall, Jerry.
Then the audience claps.
What's going on? What's going on in there, Kramer? Oh no!
Oh, that's I just walked in. His brains are all over the end table. Oh god. And then, we're back with Jake Drake, fucking Snake, I don't know. And he's just sitting there counting his money on the beach. And he looks up, and there's like 6 Komodos just walking up towards him. He's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And I was like, oh, yeah, die, baby. Die!
Yeah.
Admittedly, this movie doesn't know, but it just assumed like this one big one ate all the other ones because you never see any other ones. Just
yeah,
it's the raptor group from the first Jurassic Park. Where it's like, yeah, we had 5 of them, but the female she ate all but 2 of them. But then when you watch Jurassic Park, you're like, I don't even know which one is the alpha. Like they all look the same.
Yeah,
they're all cool.
There should have been one that was different color.
Should have been slightly bigger and a different color. Yeah. That's my only complaint about the Raptors in Jurassic Park, because the ones in Jurassic Park are my favorite Raptors of the entire franchise.
I like, speaking of which, I want to bring this up because I can. On Jurassic Park 3, I like how they made the females more correct. The female raptor, because she's just larger and gray, which is like,
and she doesn't have the little feather things on the top of their head.
Yeah, because it's a muted color. Because in a lot of animal groups, specifically birds, which of course dinosaurs are very closely related to, the males are the flamboyant ones. They're the colorful. They're the bright. And that's what I wish.
Well, that's how birds are. That's how birds.
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
Male birds are usually the more colorful ones.
I mean, it's the same with arthropods too.
Hey, you should all check out our Jurassic Park 3 episode that we did like really
Fucking
early.
dope.
It was like our 3rd episode as Dissect That Film. And that has 33,000 views on YouTube, so you should check it out.
What was our one that everybody in India watched? Was that
That was Jurassic Park 3. Yeah, that was Jurassic Park 3.
Oh, it was Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, it was a wild moment. You know, you start up a YouTube channel and you post some things. You're like, why are people watching this? Why are thousands of people clicking on this?
I bet we said something that's like funny in their native language, but we don't realize it.
Listen, right now, our most downloads of the month are from South Africa. So, hey, thanks to all our South African listeners. We applaud you. The first time ever that the show has led downloads in a country other than the U.S.
Yeah, GG.
Cool. Thank you.
I just again imagine the underground group of people that just listen to like just passing our show around.
I don't give a shit
Like,
where downloads come from. As long as people are listening, I don't give a shit.
It's just this group of South Africans.
appreciate-
Like, hey, listen, they don't recognize the crown, but they're all right.
Yeah. Listen, every government's corrupt, right?
I know. I just
Listen, I just watched a clip of the wonders of Canadian government right now, where some dude literally called Trudeau. Like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's like he pretty much like calls him out in the middle. They're just like, get out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, that's enough politics for the show. That is it, though. That is the end of Curse of the Komodo from 2004. Let's go around the room and talk about our final thoughts. Did anybody like this movie? Did we have a good time?
All right, cool.
I had a
game,
blast.
guys.
I had a fucking, as much as like as dumb as this movie is, like you said earlier, I've kind of become muted to some of these things, but I had a good time watching this. It's not something I would like sit down and watch, but I'd have it on in the background while I'm doing something else and look over and be like, hey, that's stupid, and then just go back to what I'm doing. Like, it's very entertaining. I will give it that. It's dumb, it's bad, but it's entertaining.
That's what my wife says about me, so that's fair. Sorry, like how that is.
And it reminds me of like an Andy Sedaris movie. It's like Andy Sedaris and Jim Wynorski made a baby, and it turned out to be Curse of the Komodo.
Sounds about right. Angela, I really want to know your thoughts on this movie.
I think it's a movie.
It's on the threshold,
I really did enjoy making fun of this. I told Parker that it should have been something that we watched
we should
together.
Definitely did a
just because
watch along on this.
We made so many comments on this movie. I don't know how many times I'm looked over at him and I'm like,
what's going on?
There was a lot of what the fuck's going on. But would I watch it again? Probably not. Unless it was something that we watched communally.
It's a good group watch. It would be a good group watch. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a good watch along.
Yes. I will. I don't think it's great. The good thing is about this movie is it was, as you said, at least entertaining. Because we've seen so many bad movies that the one that always comes to my mind is this old 50s movie called The Amazing Petrified World, which is how the film left me. It was extremely boring, and there was nothing happened. I don't know. Like, I thought it would be interesting, and there'd be like rock monsters, but no, there was not rock monsters, nor was there a rock lobster.
Rock lobster.
You know me too well.
I do.
Damn it.
But it is. It's so ludicrous that you could poke fun at it. It's similar to the same guy did this, but Arkansas Women's Prison Massacre.
Yes,
it's very similar to that one. And but I like this one more than Arkansas. Yeah, because that one doesn't have the dignity to have titties in it.
Arkansas,
it's like all these women, like you would assume, are like, nude models or whatever. Which I'm not making fun of people that do that line of work. That's fine. I respect you for doing it. But like you could just tell by like this is what they do. But anyway, but none of them get naked. None of them.
Listen, I don't give a shit about nudity in movies. I've seen a lot of titties in movies, and to be honest, who gives a shit? I don't care.
You're full of shit. When you see one, you want to see more.
No, I say I don't. No, I'm not like.
I see mine every day. I don't want to see other women.
Too many.
I agree. Like too much is like it's something you expect in films.
Listen, as I stated earlier, I've been watching a lot of movies from 1982, and I swear to God, every movie other than maybe two have had titties in it. And you're like,
that's fair.
Right. Okay.
But given the bullshit scientists, which you could easily pick apart, and like we could have done without the stuff without.
I feel like they don't do much research when they're doing these movies on like the actual, scientific facts about like these animals that they're making movies about. But this is also a movie about a gigantic like Komodo dragon.
I don't even know if we have mentioned that. Do we ever mention that it's truly gigantic?
Yeah, at one point
like dinosaur sized.
Yeah, at one point the guy calls it Godzilla.
Oh, at one point in the back of the
Jeep,
Jeep,
dinosaur.
Yeah, Drake or Jake's like, oh, yeah, I thought they were extinct. And it's like, oh, that's not a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yep.
It also makes some dinosaur noises, though. It makes you know how we talked about in Komodo, how the one Komodo made the Joe and Mac roar. The roar it did in this movie was the one from Land Before Time, the one that the big
and they use some of those in like Doom and shit like that. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. Hilarious.
I had another point for this, but it's fine. It's just a dumb movie that is. It feels like we said like an older style movie, just made in a more modern light. So
100%. Yeah, I mean, this was as much as there's a lot of bad things that go on in this movie. Like, to be honest, when I'm watching these movies, I am not going, oh boy, I'm looking for some like splendid acting, some splendid. I know what I'm walking into. Like, because I usually will check like IMDb or whatever to kind of see, like, prepare myself for whatever movie I'm going to watch, especially a movie like this. So I'm not expecting anything special. And so I'm not, I was hard on some stuff in the episode, but it's all for comedy's sake. It wasn't me just being a complete asshole to the movie.
Of course.
Jim Wynorski, I respect like we were talking about, like you could make an entire podcast just on all of the movies that Jim Wynorski has done in his career, because he's made a lot, so many. Like, and to be honest, it's gonna sit in my mind. So hopefully nobody will steal that. And we're all gonna be here to do it. It's gonna be Wheel of Wynorski, or what was the other one, Dan? The Wynorski Files.
Oh, the Wynorski Files. Yes. Listen, I want to say this real quick. We're just Parker. I agree with you 100%. Everything you said. Not trying to end your thing early.
I dropped my phone.
We're sitting here
and hit the space bar, and it scrolled down.
Go ahead.
On IMDb, it says more like this. In Komodo versus Cobra comes up. The Hills Have Thighs comes up, but also House on Hooter
Oh
Hill.
yeah, I did see that.
And it has more stars than Komodo versus Cobra.
The Komodo we just covered has 4.2, which is the same as The Hills Have Thighs.
Wow.
I was just trying to...
The House on Hooter Hills is a 4.0.
I was just trying
and
to
Komodo's
look
a
at
4.2.
Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I really want to start this Wynorski Files podcast.
I can make another wheel.
Get out of here, dissect that film. You're done. We're done talking about these wide.
What we do?
I can add it to the wheel.
No.
Just as a.
We could like the Wynorski. Just hit it. It's Wynorski.
And then we have to.
We do it. We do it as another podcast, but we never mention it.
Like never mention on this show. Even though we're mentioning a bunch on this show already.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. People will figure it out. But we never mention it from this point on.
So we just started.
It's just a separate thing. Yeah, we just started, and it's just a thing.
Right. You guys are paying for that one. I'm not paying for that podcast.
Just the little brown book.
We'll just follow.
That one will start on Spotify for podcasters, so it don't cost me anything.
There you go.
Podbean.
30-minute episodes. No, 30-minute episodes.
Yes.
Sure, we can make it 30 minutes. That's for sure.
Can we, though?
And we won't edit it like Wynorski's movie.
We had to talk about Pet Sematary for 20 minutes. That was hard.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I do want to read the production notes here for this movie on Wikipedia. Yes, use Wikipedia a lot, and there's literally no shame. So the film had its origins when Wynorski was shooting the film Treasure Hunt in Hawaii. He says he took 3 of the actors to a secluded waterfall location on their day off and shot what would become the first segment of Curse. Later, when he returned to L.A., Steve Latshaw wrote the entire script based on segment that he had already shot on location. It all turned out rather fun, so much that they asked him to do a sequel. I said I would do it, provided they sent myself and the entire cast to Hawaii to film it, which they did.
There you go.
Oh my God, it's so good. I just love the reception. There's literally one thing in the reception part where it just says critical reception was mostly negative. That's it. That's all there is.
You don't say.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. This is good. This is our first out of the Tubi of the year, which is kind of mind blowing. Next month we have a good one for you guys, because next June is our Movies with Wheels month, where we'll be talking about a lot of car movies or just movies that have vehicles in it. And for our out of the Tubi, we're going to be talking about the Maximum Overdrive Tubi version called Trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Not fucks.
Nice.
So, yeah. And then in July, we're going to be releasing, I might as well tell you that in July we're going to release our Shark and Saw's Women's Prison Massacre episode that we did last year, since July is going to be, we don't know exactly what the theme is going to be yet, but it'll fit for July because that's when Shark Week happens. So, and we had never released that to the public because originally the show was a Patreon exclusive show, and then I said, fuck that. I don't want 3 Patreon exclusive shows, so we are now.
We should just do shark movies that aren't Jaws.
Oh, there's plenty.
I mean, that's kind of what Bucket of Chum is. So,
Yeah, but,
I don't want to steal his. I don't want to steal his thing.
We don't call it. We don't call it Bucket of Chum.
Chum of Bucket.
No, we just call
the
it
Chum Bucket.
We just call it Chum some of this shit. It's just. But we never cover a Jaws movie. We're named after
we're just out here stealing people's things. Okay, it's fine.
Dude, there's nothing's original anymore. We just steal from everybody else. You just cherry pick.
It's true.
It's great. Steve, thank you again for joining us. This was an absolute blast to talk about 2 Komodo movies. In a week.
Yeah.
But tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, / TikTok, all at Bucket of Chum Podcast, YouTube at Bucket of Chum, and patreon.com / Bucket of Chum. And yeah, all my links are on bucketofchumpodcast.com.
Yes, and the website will be down in the description, so make sure to click on that. Check out all the amazing things that are going on over at Bucket of Chum. It's a great show, and I always got to applaud people who can do podcasts on their own, because I've done it a few times, and it is not easy.
Yeah.
Talking to yourself, not very good at it, but Steve is a master. So yeah, check out Bucket of Chum and everything that he does over there. And,
I do have a couple of guest episodes coming out in June. Two of them back to back, actually. So
that's exciting.
I just subscribed on YouTube.
Yeah, because you just released a new show, right? Because you have your core show that you do weekly, and then you have your show
C6 Cinema.
Yes, okay. I couldn't remember the name, but I did listen to the first episode that you have out of that, and that was so good. That was so good.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so for that I take movies I've already reviewed on the show that are particularly bad in a way. Ones that I find particularly bad, so they're like really bad.
So
but even on the first episode,
hate it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Although I will say on that first episode, I did kind of come back around on Shark Exorcist a little bit. I don't hate it as much as I used to.
Oh my god!
Looking forward to the sequel.
I'm looking forward to listening to you talk about it.
I don't think that was high on the list of things to watch. That's for sure. Helicopter Jack.
Oh my god. As for us, you can find us at Dissect That Film on all the social media apps, Twitter /X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. We're on YouTube at youtube.com /Dissect That Film, where you can see our faces. Hi, YouTube. This show, I'm not doing anything. I'm not putting any clips or anything in there. This is literally, we record it, I throw it in, and then I upload it. I don't do much editing because I have to do enough editing with the other show, and this is kind of a fun show that we just decided, fuck it, let's do it. And it's about movies like this, so yeah. What more do I need to say? We also have a Patreon, patreon.com /Dissect That Film, where for $1 you can get early episodes to our core podcast, and also you can get access to polls, to outtakes on episodes, and other things. I think I said them all. And then for $5 or $4, depending on when I've changed the tier, you can get access to our Patreon exclusive show called The Monster Zone, which is hosted by Dan and Angela, where once a month we spin a wheel, land on a monster movie, and we talk about it. And for the month, well, this will be out still in May, so Tentacles is out right now on Patreon.
Yeah, and we talked about it a lot this episode, indirectly. The show.
Yes. It's a fun show, so if you want to support us financially, go over there, and if you can't, make sure to go to any one of your favorite podcast apps and leave us 5 stars. We're really close to 30 reviews on Spotify and 1 away from 20 on Apple Podcasts, and we have a lot of Apple Podcast listeners, so if you haven't left us 5-star review, why?
Yeah, step the fuck up.
What have we done? But seriously, we appreciate all the support, and we appreciate amazing people like Steve coming on the show and hanging out with us and talking about weird-ass movies. So, yeah. And until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan Angelo of DNA Gaming. And that is Captain Steve Coates of the Bucket of Chum podcast. And this has been another ad of the Tubi. Remember, form your own opinion, baby. And watch more Tubi. Bye.
Bye.